Hi and welcome to this week's weekly forecast. My name's Vicki and I'm the travelling tarot teacher, and this week I'm coming to you from Border Village. It's on the border of South Australia and Western Australia. So the Western Australia border is just like 100 metres away. We have to go through like a bit of a quarantine station to make sure we're not carrying any vegetables and fruits and stuff, because you can't bring them across the border for other agricultural purposes. So we spent the night here. It's a bit chilly, you can see, and got my lovely flannelette shirt on, but also too we time travelled, so it's been you get a bit of jet lag because in South Australia it's an hour and a half later than it is here in Western Australia, so it's been a very weird experience. So having said that, been up super early and at this lovely setting. The Great Australian Bight is just like about 100 metres away, and we crossed the Nullarbor yesterday looking at the beautiful scenery, dropped into a lovely pink lake at Lake McDonald, and just watching the flow of like the road and the plains. Nullarbor means the place of no trees. Of course there were no trees, but just shrubs everywhere, but pretty much we're in the desert, but where the desert meets the sea. Absolutely stunning. So here we are, this week's weekly forecast for week commencing Monday, April 26th. I'm going to do, as usual, the 6 cards. I got a bit distracted then. I have to say, and I'm writing about this in my blog, it's been a very, South Australia, as we live in South Australia, it's been very different. The energy here has actually captured a lot of my psychic senses. I've had a lot of experiences where out of body, connecting to the memory of areas and things like that, much stronger than I have had anywhere else. And I think South Australia is very special for that, but also very, I think, isolated, or often has an odd reputation for somewhere different, as somewhere that's a little bit different, a bit odd. And I really think that that's the reason why, is that it has a different energy here, across the whole places that I've visited. Anyway, so as I said, whenever I'm tuning in, doing either the weekly forecast or my meditation nights, allowing that psychic energy to increase as you do, I am then carried almost like it's an out-of-body experience, and I can actually feel it overwhelm me again. So the places around here are incredibly spiritual, incredibly connected to the earth and to nature and the cycles. So I'm not sure what it is. I hope it continues as we go along, and I really think that the meditation circle, that we are increasing the energy of that circle, and that's building as we go. Anyway, but I'm going to stop talking now and do the weekly forecast. If you're not signed up to my newsletter, I'll have a lot of information about my travels there as well. Sorry, I'm just having a bit of a floaty experience, so that's very nice. Let's get started. Week commencing April 26, 2021. We're going to do a weekly forecast. As usual, I'm using the Mythic Tarot deck, and I'm going to choose 6 cards. We're going to look at the energy of the week and gain some insight and guidance around what's going to happen. So as usual, I'm choosing 6 cards for us. 1, 2, 3. Hope you've all had a nice week. I have to say, last week's cards definitely reflected my week. It was a lot of having to stop and think about, bring myself back into the moment, because little things were going wrong everywhere. But that was a lot of fun. It's good. It makes me stop and put me back in the moment, rather than having my mind racing. Let me just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's begin. Card number 1 is our conscious self, or our conscious state, and we have this card here, the card of contentment. So this week, the theme and the overlying energy will be one of seeking contentment and gaining contentment. So if you're not in that contented space, your soul and your energy will be constantly correcting that and directing you towards contented states. If you're constantly finding yourself in anxiety or anxiety states, you will be, like, it's almost like you'll be directed, do this, sit down, slow down, lie down. All those things to put you into that nice space. So, if you feel that happening, just go with it. Have a break. So our soul energy, the energy that directs us unconsciously, that's moving us towards what we're going to experience this week and helping us to understand and amplify all that contentment energy around us and helping us to understand it, is this card, the card of hope. Like that. So having these two together, contentment and hope, our soul, like our auric, I suppose our auric bodies, our soul energy is directing us towards what we would like in the future. Actually, again, that's been happening to me. It happened to me all day yesterday as I was travelling. I had a big travel day as this little Nullarbor. I was doing a lot of reflecting on how I'd like to move forward and what I actually, all the things that I love doing, and want to put more energy into what I love doing rather than what I think I should be doing. And that's what these two cards here reflect, actually. So that's really, really nice. That would be a feeling for the whole week, that we will be experiencing that move towards contentment and move towards what we would like that contentment to look like, to suit us, not what we think life should be like. So that looking at now, what can overrule, or what fear or sensitivity are we managing in order to achieve or to feel that contentment and that hope or that direction that we're heading for. So we've got here, I love this. This is probably one of my favourite cards. This is the wish card, or the I call it the manifestation card, but really it's the card where things turn up. So oftentimes when we feel content, there is such a fear sometimes that we shouldn't be content, that there's something's going to go wrong, that we sit in each. And that's what I was talking about here, that you will be constantly brought back to that centre of contentment if you're feeling anxious. I can remember a time when that used to happen to me. I would be feeling fine, feeling good, and then because I was feeling so comfortable, I'd worry all the time that something was going to go wrong. It was like that was way back in my teens and 20s. So that sense that something may go wrong, that you're not allowed to feel this content, will be the only overriding factor that your mind will be playing out. So you can just, if you can remember that your natural state this week is meant to be contentment, while you allow yourself to daydream, then that'll hopefully bring you back into the moment. So what is our response to this energy? What's our response to this activity that's going on around us? Our response is to create stability at home, create a nice, comfortable space so that we can feel content. So if we've got contentment growing around us, and we've got that sort of daydreamy, I want to head this way energy, then we'll want to create a nice, beautiful, comfortable area around us, a nice stability around us. We want to have a nice, comfortable home or space or somewhere where we feel content and grounded. It's not about feeling safe, it's about feeling grounded and content, and surrounded by the things that love us, people that love us, things that we love, and where we feel that we are in control. So we're going to create a space where we feel we are in control, because we are in control, and that contentment is going to help us understand and remember how much control we actually have in our decision making in our lives. Now, what is our future? Oh, I'm going to write about the Hermit actually this week as well, so look out for that on my blog. The Hermit is our future. So lately for me, the Hermit has been meaning that we've had a shift, an understanding shift, and more often than not, our external circumstances and our friends, even though they're close by, they feel far away. So Hermit energy is where we are consolidating the wisdom that we've gained. So our future means all of these things that we're learning here, that we're experiencing this week, and the information and energy that we're welcoming in, and learning how much actual control we do have, is going to bring about a sense of peace and contentment. It's an actual energy shift. And while we have that energy shift, we sometimes feel a little bit isolated or alone, but we feel we are actually comfortable in that aloneness. And while it feels a bit weird, it's necessary to have that separated sort of feeling, because while we do that, we can't be having any external influences like contaminating, I suppose, the new information that we're like growing into, or that we've understood. So we can actually have a really good handle on it, and we can walk with confidence in our future. I love this. I'm getting goosebumps. Okay, so the spiritual meaning, the spiritual like soul journey, the depths of these experiences this week. What is it showing us, and what is it clearing, or what is it moving us towards? And we have the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man is a very challenging, I suppose, card, if you want to call it anything. It can be really sad, and it can be sometimes a violent card. It can be a really frustrating card. The Hanged Man requires patience and self-sacrifice. Now, I really think my feeling around this card is not so much that we are then going to be giving things up, self-sacrificing things, like those, like the things that, but we're going to have to give up our life, or whatever it is, that we sometimes think that we have to do. My feeling, as soon as I saw this card, is that we are going to be letting go of those feelings, that we must sacrifice parts of ourselves in order to either please other people or live a particular life in a particular way. We're going to be letting go of those things that we think we need to hang on to in order to have a great life. Through our personal contentment that we're going to be experiencing, and that daydreaming energy that allows us to imagine a better future, and that we can see hope into the future. It's going to help us understand that we have more control. We need to sit oftentimes in that anxiety that things are not allowed to be this good, because you know what? It's not going to go away. Things are this good. You are in this much control. You do have that power that's within, and that's what all these experiences are going to be about. So I really think that we're going to let go of that humility, or that humble part of us that thinks, or that ego part of us that thinks that we must sacrifice, or that we must give things up in order to have a better life. We must let go of that, that we will be letting go of that transactional mentality that says we must give up this or surrender this in order to have this good life over here. We already have this good life, and this week is going to show us how lovely our life actually is, and the Nine of Cups energy is going to melt away all of that anxiety that says we don't deserve it, because we absolutely do. And that energy that challenges us, that says we must surrender, or we must wait, or we must serve time, is all leaving. We're going to understand, because the wisdom of the Hermit is bringing about an understanding that we don't live that way anymore. We now own our power, we now walk our path, we now live our comfort and our contentment, and we have every right to chase our dreams. So I'm saying to you guys, use that energy to go for it. I'm already feeling it, so I can feel that this week is heading me in that direction anyway. I've already started to feel it yesterday. So I said, South Australia is such an amazing place. Energetically, it's really energized me. Psychically, spiritually, it has energized me and brought me back to a place that I have not experienced in a long, long time in such a strong way. Anyway, I'll leave that with you. I will talk to you next week for the weekly forecast. Sign up for my newsletter. Come and see me on Spiritual Events Directory. Sunday nights. I also have like a weekly magazine show on a Thursday that incorporates some of the work that I do, hints and tips. It's a pre-recorded show, but hopefully I'm sort of getting it a bit better formatted, so it's a bit more sort of light and entertaining, and a few travel things there in there as well. But otherwise, have a great week. With love from me to you. I hope everything works out well, and I'll talk to you next week. Goodbye. With love.